Hello and welcome back to my dingy basement. As you can see, I am in my comfy blanket hoodie today because this video has been a hassle to make, to say the least. It was supposed to come out like 2 weeks ago, but things kept happening one after the other. I got sick, then my kids got sick, then the game wasn't working, then my computer wasn't working, then the editing software wasn't working. So it was a mess, but thankfully I have it done and I'm really proud of my build. As the title says, this is my dream book cafe and I'm really proud. Like, seriously, it's really cool. You can download it if you want to play in it. My username on the gallery is doodleberry4012. And yeah, so let's get into the speed build. Okay, so before I get into describing everything that is happening in the speed build, I just want to say I had a lot of trouble with this build. So the first time I tried doing it, I started with the book cafe, like the book part of the cafe, so the bookstore, and it just wasn't working. I couldn't get stuff to fit properly the way I wanted to. So I started it again, like all over, and that's why you're gonna see me like put furnituring in as I'm building, because I wanted to make sure that everything could fit proportionally and everything. So that's why. Also, sometimes in the video it might skip over or things like that, because sometimes I didn't realize that my camera stopped recording the screen. So there's some parts that are not recorded, unfortunately. And also, I lost a part that I had recorded, and yeah, so we don't have that anymore, which is sad as well. But I'm going to show you pictures at the end to show exactly everything, how it turned out. So this is my dream book cafe. So I studied literature and I've always loved reading and writing and everything like that. And I love baking. I love cooking in general, but baking particularly. And it would be like a dream to own a bookshop cafe. So this is what I would like it to look like in real life if I could have that. And yeah, so I started with the corner. The corner, I wanted the cafe to be in the corner. You know, like those buildings that there's a bunch of buildings that are just like stuck together and it's all different shops, and sometimes over there's like residential apartments and things like that. Well, I wanted something like that, but I really wanted the cafe to be in the corner spot with like the door in like diagonal, because I just think it's really cool. So I did that. And it's not the way I usually build. Like, I don't build a lot of community spaces, and I usually just build houses. And when I play with the new businesses and hobbies pack, I've been building more like small shops, but it's usually like residential and um, what is it called, the small business. So there's like both, but just business, I don't really build that much of that. So it was kind of a challenge, but I had a very clear idea of what I wanted, which was kind of a challenge in itself, because then I had the idea in my head, but not everything translates to sim like perfectly and everything. But I think it turned out great, if I might say so myself. But yeah, so I really like the old, like, industrial kind of builds, and like those brownstone buildings in New York and things like that. So that's kind of a bit what it's inspired by. But I also wanted the all the buildings. There's like four different buildings stuck together, and I wanted them to fit together but all look like they were different buildings, if that makes sense. So I went for that. So this is why the brick outside, I think at first I put it all the same, yeah, but I'm gonna change that eventually. But I wanted, especially in the bookstore, I wanted to look like very dark academia and moody, and I put like those saucer lights everywhere just because it's helpful to see when you build. But I'm going to change the lighting almost everywhere just because I wanted, like I wanted it to be moody and to have like really a vibe. And when you go there, you don't want like the harsh lights. It's more like calm and soothing, and you can have your coffee or your hot chocolate and eat a croissant and just go by your favorite book and whatever. I saw in a cafe that I went to when I lived in Alberta, and it had those like those things in the kitchen that it was just open. So like the people in the front, they did like your drinks and things like that, but the food actually came from the kitchen in the back. But we could see it, like it was all open, and I thought that was really cool. It was the first time I like saw something like that in real life. I had seen it like in movies and things like that, but never in real life. And I, from that moment on, I was like, if I ever have a cafe, it needs this feature because I think that's really cool and it's like very vibey. So I, of course, put it in there. Um, if I had a cafe, it would mostly be like drinks. I really like drinks and like smoothies and juices and things like that, which is weird because in life I just drink water pretty much, and in the summer sometimes lemonade, and in the winter sometimes hot chocolate. Excuse me. But yeah, I would really like to like have smoothies and things like that. I don't know why. I just love it, I guess. So that's why. And so that's why I put that at the back of the cashier place, because then they can make the drinks there and then they get the food from the kitchen. And now we moved on to the bookstore part. I love this bookstore. Seriously, like having two floors, two levels, that's a dream. And like there's a bookstore close by to where I live where there's a second floor, but it's just like you go up the stairs and there's just a second floor, so it's not the same thing. I really want the thing that like you can go around and there's a fence and everything. I put ladders just because in my mind it's spiral staircase. Obviously, as all of you may know if you play The Sims, there are no spiral staircases in The Sims 4. I know we've been asking for forever and they don't give it to us, but yeah, it's alright. I put ladders instead because big stairs wouldn't have done it. No. So I put ladders, but just pretend in your head that it's actually spiral staircases that go up. And if you know, I have written a book. Yes, it is called Beyond the Pain. It's available worldwide on Amazon if you're interested. It's a excuse me. It's a contemporary fantasy. It's YA. It's about a girl named Lily that like pretty much hits rock bottom and she thinks she's lost everything until she actually loses the last thing she has, which is her freedom, because she gets taken to this old mysterious mansion called Evergreen and she's forced to work there, and she discovers the people's secrets, and it's a lot more than she could imagine, let's just say. So if you're interested, you can check it out on Amazon. But there is a library in the mansion, and it's pretty much the vibes of this library. So like they kind of are the same, except this one, of course, there's like it's to sell books. It's not like an actual library, it's a bookstore. So there's places for the cashier and everything. I put those desks, they're not gonna work as cash registers in game. So it would probably just be a library in game and not a bookstore. But it's fine, honestly, because they can, you can get money from the cafe. But in real life, if it was in real life, that would be where the cashiers are. and you can ask them to look for books and you can pay and everything. And yeah, so I tried to make it realistic in the sense that some of the things are not really useful, that you can still play with them. Like there's going to be computers on those desks in the bookstore, but the employees are going to use them as computers. But in my head, they are cash registers. And you know, those benches I put there, they won't serve for anything. Like the one under the desk, it's they won't be able to sit on that. But you know, it gets the vibe. Placing those books, oh my goodness, was so long, but for some reason was so freaking fun. Like I had so much fun. And at first when I saw all the books, I was like, there's no way in hell that I'm placing each thing. It's gonna take forever. It's never gonna end. And then when I started, it just was so satisfying. I couldn't stop. And then when I was done, I was like, oh, I kind of wished I had more. But yeah, it's kind of little displays that I put in front of the windows because they have that in bookstores. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with the bookstore part. It's exactly how I imagined it. Like, obviously, the part where the bathroom and everything, that's not exactly the same. I would like, if possible, to have like some rooms where people can go to read or like do schoolwork or things like that, just like small cubicles or something. I think that'd be fun, especially if the book cafe was situated close to like a college or something. That would be really cool. And yeah, I really just tried to make it um, dark and moody, if you know what I mean. But without it being like, I don't know, I wanted it to be dark and moody, but I didn't want it to feel like witchy, if that makes sense. Like I put a bit of plants, but I don't have like crystals or things like that, because even though that vibe is really cool, it's not a vibe that I would actually like in my bookstore if I had one. I would want things to still be neat and clear and not too crowded, which sounds a bit weird because I put so much clutter in this build. But you know, you still feel like you have place to move around and room to breathe. I really like those old bookstores where it's really crammed, but I'm claustrophobic, so I cannot stay in them for too long. So I would want, if I had a bookstore, I would want the bookstore to feel like a place where you can just, you know, waste your time in there. You come in and then you just don't even realize that you've been there for 2 hours, sort of thing. So that's why I didn't want it to be too crammed. Um, that's something that it's been a new feature for quite a bit, but in case you don't know, you can now paint the ceiling in The Sims. It's just with the floor tiles, so it's exactly the same thing. But if you look at the bottom, you have like ceiling by floor by tile, floor by room, and after that you have ceiling by tile and ceiling by room. So you can do like really cool patterns and things like that, and it adds a certain va-va-voom, if you know what I mean. And yeah, we're almost done with the bookstore, and honestly, like, I'm in awe. Like, it's crazy because I made it, so I feel kind of pretentious that saying that it's like really good, but like, look at this thing. Like, I did amazing. Oh, placing those stupid books. They're not stupid, they're actually a great item in The Sims, but I placed so many of them, and I was really happy to be done at the end because oh my god. But they're really cool, and what I like about them is that you can like kind of like slide them into the other one and make it look even less like it's the same object. You can switch the colors and everything, and it really looks seamless, like the books are actually supposed to be there as opposed to just a random thing in the middle. Um, Up there, that's behind the cafe. There's like a little hallway then you can go in the kitchen, and then you can come upstairs, and that's the employee room, like the break room sort of thing. There's a huge bathroom because I hate when in employee like rooms slash bathrooms there's like one toilet, and you go in, it's a small thing and it looks so disgusting, and there's one sink, one toilet, the floor is always sticky and wet, and it's so gross. So I wanted to make like a fancy one for the employees. Like, they deserve it, they work hard. I mean, I don't even have employees, but I've worked in customer service long enough to know that they deserve it. Yeah, so up there, it's just like a pretty regular break room. I have like a little spot for sitting if it's your break. Then I have like a kitchen part with tables for lunch, and it's nothing much. I put a board at the top of the stairs that I figured like that's where they would put like the news and employee of the month and like the schedules and things like that. I know it's supposed to be like a cop thing, but yeah, it works. Yeah. And then next to that, it would be my office. That's the one of the parts that I forgot that, well, not forgot. I didn't know that I had stopped recording, so we don't see it, but you'll see it in the pictures at the end because it's really cool and I really love that office. But if it was my book cafe, I would love to have an office where I can write and edit and deal with like all the business paperwork and everything, and just like have a room for myself and meet clients and things over there. So I made an office, and it's really moody and really nice, and I have like those long tables where I can just put a bunch of papers down to like plan my stories and everything. It would be the dream. This building, I didn't do the inside just because in my head it would be like an apartment building. So if you want to play in it, you can make it as an apartment building and you can live there, or like a house, and then the rest is your business or whatever. But yeah, so I just did the exterior, and it's really nice. I feel like I wanted it to be um in the same vibes as the others, but I thought maybe it would be like a newer part, like they renovated it, so the colors are a bit different, but I kept the red with those flower boxes. And now, since I was moving to the exterior, I decided to move the lot to a place where it would fit the surrounding better. So I put it in Nordhaven, since there's a lot of businesses, obviously, but also it's more like tight. And I feel like this build belonged in a tight neighborhood where it would make sense to have something like that, and not just like houses, huge houses everywhere, and then boom, there's like those things. So yeah, I put it there. I tried to match the floor with like the floor that was close by, and then I moved on to finishing the outdoor. This is a part that I lost, is when I was decorating the building next to the bookstore, and I thought, hey, maybe it was building, it was a business before, but like they went bankrupt or whatever, like COVID hit and they lost their business or whatever, and then it became like just decrepit, and people started like staying there illegally, and like there's a bunch of trash and it's broken and everything. So if you want to play in it, you can renovate that part and make another business in there, and that would be really cool. And I kind of got lost in that thing because it was so fun to just design and like decorate to make it look like trashy. I don't think I had ever built like a decrepit build like that. So that was really cool. And I put like fences to say like, hey, this is under renovation. You cannot go here. So they would not be able to enter that build. But yeah, I tried to make it look like it belonged in the neighborhood, like with the trees and the benches, garbage cans and everything. I know there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of benches, and there's a lot of garbage cans, and in real life a city would probably not take the budget to do that. But this is The Sims, and this is my dream book cafe, and in my dream, we don't cheap out on those kinds of things and we give the people what they want. Okay, so there's a lot of benches and garbage cans because we don't want trash on the floor, and we know how people get tired easily. So they want to sit. There you have it. I didn't know what to do with the back of the build. And then I was like, what do people want? Nature and parks. So I added a park because I love parks and I think there should be parks like everywhere. So I added a park. Also, the build that was there before I bulldozed it, like, was an old, like, rundown park that you're supposed to, like, um fix up and own as a business. And I was like, kind of feeling bad that I took the park away. So I added my own. There's a huge sandbox with, like, things for the kids, and I was just imagining, like, what would my kids like to do in that sandbox and stuff. And I just went ham. And as a child, I would have loved this park. I just know it. And yeah, so I went crazy in the little park. I think it's really cute, like the trees and everything. It would be perfect for a date, or, like, I just imagine an old couple sitting there and looking at the fountain or playing a game of chess. In the sandpit, I put a little section for the toddlers. So that's with the kiddie pool and the little slide. And then I moved on to the backyard of the apartment building. And I just went real basic with that because honestly, it wasn't really my priority. It's more like an idea. So if you would want to take that, you can do whatever you want with that backyard. But honestly, it's just I just decorated it so it wouldn't look empty with the rest, but it wasn't my priority. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I think I still put, like, some things that are cool. Like, I don't know if you know, but there's this item that I love, is that hose. I put it in all of my houses now. Like, it just adds a little something. But look at that. Like, seriously, every time I look at those screenshots, I can't believe that I'm the one who actually made that. It's amazing. It looks so good. How did I make it look so good? I don't understand. But yeah. So that's my build, and you can tell me if you would like to visit it. If it was real, I would love to be in there in real life, work in there and everything. It's really cozy, I feel like, and I'm really proud of it. Honestly, I feel like um, I've always known I was pretty good at building in The Sims, but with that build, I was like, dang, I surprised myself. And I feel like I didn't put necessarily much more effort than I do usually, so I'm I'm really shocked. I think I realized something, like a talent that I had, and I'm really proud of myself. And even though it was really hard and a lot of work and everything seemed to go wrong, I'm really happy of how it turned out. And yeah, so let me know what you think, and if you have another thing that you would like me or Sarah to build, if there's anything that you would like us to do, like a challenge, or if you want to see more gameplay, if you like the builds, if you want to see more creative sim things, or if you just want sim news, like, tell us what you like to see and we'll definitely try to get to that. And yeah, so those are the screenshots, and I hope you liked it. I'm like, it's really pretty. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's it for now, and I will see you in the next one. Just leave a comment if you want to, and subscribe if you want to see the next things we have in store for you. And I will see you next time. Bye.